Harsh lands forge hardened people, and Mongolia is among the most unforgiving places on Earth. From these vast, windswept steppes rose a people who would carve out the largest empire the world has ever known. This is the story of Temujin, the man who would become Genghis Khan. The early history of the Mongols remains partially hidden in mystery, and historians still debate many aspects of their past. By the early 10th century, the Proto-Mongolic Khitan people had created an empire known as the Great Liao. The Khitans fought wars across Korea, China, and Central Asia, but in 1125 they were overthrown by the Chinese Jin Dynasty. The remnants of their power shifted westward, forming a new state known as Western Liao. Meanwhile, in what is now Mongolia, several nomadic tribes came together in a confederation called Khamag Mongol, literally meaning whole Mongol. Among the key clans of this alliance were the Borjigin, whose leaders were chosen as khans several times throughout the 12th century. For generations, Khamag Mongol clashed with their rivals, the Tatar Confederation. These conflicts drained their strength, and by the latter half of the 12th century, the Confederation was nearly gone. At this time, Yesugei, the Borjigin leader, sought to reunite the tribes. In 1171, he arranged a marriage between his 9-year-old son Temujin and Borta, the daughter of a neighboring clan chief. However, Yesugei is said to have been poisoned by the Tatars during the wedding feast. Temujin tried to take his father's place as chieftain, but was rejected and forced into exile with his family. For 6 difficult years, Temujin endured poverty, and at times even enslavement. Over time, he began rebuilding his power, gathering a following with the help of his blood brother Jamuka and Togrul Khan, the ruler of the Karaite tribe. Together, Temujin and Jamuka conducted raids against other tribes, but their alliance eventually broke apart. Jamuka favored the old aristocracy, while Temujin promoted men based on skill rather than birth. Feeling threatened, Jamuka struck first. In 1187, he led 30,000 warriors against Temujin's 20,000 at the Battle of Dalan Balzut and won a crushing victory. What Temujin did over the next decade is not well recorded, but by 1197 he reappears as a commander, leading a combined Mongol-Karaite force in a war against the Tatars instigated by the Jin Dynasty. In this campaign, Temujin avenged his father's death. The Tatar leaders were executed, while ordinary tribespeople were invited to join his growing ranks. Temujin distributed power to those who proved loyal and capable, regardless of tribal background. He offered his men and the civilians who supported him a share of the spoils, laying the foundation for a legal and social code that would one day govern his empire. Among his earliest laws was one that declared hospitality sacred. Guests and envoys were never to be harmed. With every victory, Temujin attracted more followers and reshaped the Mongols into a disciplined fighting force. He implemented a decimal-based military structure, dividing his army into units of 10, 100, 1,000, and 10,000. Transfers between units were banned, and if one man deserted, the other 9 in his unit would pay with their lives. While most commanders were elected by their men, the leaders of the 10,000-strong Tumen were personally chosen by Temujin himself. This system produced a loyal and highly coordinated army capable of carrying out complex maneuvers. Every man fit for combat was required to join this structure. In 1201, Temujin's enemies called a Great Council, or Kurultai, and proclaimed Jamuka as Khan. This led to a 5-year civil war, ending when Temujin decisively defeated his former blood brother at the Battle of the 13 Sites. Soon after, Temujin convened his own Kurultai, where the Mongol chiefs elected him as their supreme ruler, granting him the title Genghis Khan, universal ruler. For the first time, the many tribes of the steppe were united under a single banner. In 1209, the Mongols launched their first campaign against the powerful Western Xia kingdom. The details of this war are sparse, but it is clear that Genghis Khan won several field battles while struggling to capture fortified cities. It was here that the Mongols began to appreciate the importance of siegecraft. In the end, starvation and disease forced the Xia emperor to submit, becoming Genghis Khan's vassal. Until now, the Jin dynasty had dismissed the Mongols as little more than troublesome nomads on their northern frontier. But by 1211, They recognized the growing threat and demanded that the Mongols submit to their rule. Genghis Khan refused. In March 1211, he gathered the Mongol chiefs and prepared for war. The Jin Empire boasted an enormous army of some 800,000 infantry, mostly untrained peasants, and 150,000 elite heavy cavalry. This massive force was spread out across the Great Wall and its many garrisons. Genghis Khan's own forces numbered around 90,000, entirely cavalry, divided into 3 core components: light scouts, skilled horse archers, armed with composite bows, and heavily armed lancers. Bypassing the Great Wall, the Mongols split their army. Genghis Khan personally commanded 60,000 men, while his son Ogedei led 30,000 to besiege Datong. The Great Khan advanced toward the crucial Juyong Pass, leading to Beijing, but was blocked at Yehuling, where the main Jin army awaited him. For months, the two sides stared each other down. Genghis then sent his generals Jebei and Subutai on a daring raid, striking the Jin western flank at the Battle of Wusha Fortress. The Jin army there was wiped out, and Jebei and Subutai quickly rejoined the main force. With his full strength assembled, Genghis launched a 2-pronged attack at Yehuling. Mongol troops even scaled the surrounding mountains, something the Jin believed impossible, allowing them to strike from multiple sides. Jebei executed the classic Mongol tactic of a feigned retreat, luring the Jin out of their strongholds. The defenders gave chase, only to be ambushed and slaughtered by Mongol archers lying in wait. With northern China open to him, Genghis Khan ravaged the countryside before withdrawing for the winter. The next year, the Mongols returned and besieged Datong, during which Genghis was wounded by an arrow. The city held out, and once again the Mongols retreated, now better informed about their enemy's defenses. In 1213, Genghis Khan launched yet another campaign. His cavalry's speed prevented the Jin from concentrating their forces, allowing the Mongols to raid freely. They besieged multiple fortresses, waiting for Jin armies to attempt relief, then ambushing and destroying them. Those who resisted were slaughtered or enslaved, but skilled individuals, engineers, artisans, physicians, priests, and administrators, were spared and absorbed into the Mongol host. Many others were forced to march at the front of Mongol armies as human shields. Having secured all Jin territory north of the Yellow River, Genghis Khan moved on Beijing itself. He surrounded the city and tried to starve it into submission. But disease soon broke out in his own camp, forcing negotiations. The Jin Emperor Xuanzong offered tribute: gold, horses, manpower, and even his daughter, in exchange for peace. The Mongols accepted and withdrew. But before they reached home, a messenger brought word that the emperor had moved his court south to Kaifeng, clearly signaling his intention to resist. Enraged, Genghis Khan turned back. With the help of Chinese engineers, he breached Beijing's walls and razed the city. For weeks, the Mongols hauled away countless wagon loads of loot. The fires consumed the city for more than a month, and its population was massacred. This wraps up part 1 of our Genghis Khan series. Part 2 is coming soon. So don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and leave a comment below. We'll see you in the next episode.